save the link and everything so you can check it out. But basically what I wanted to do was just show you what PieSync is, how to set it up. For those of you who don't know, it's a great tool if you have any contacts like in your actual cell phone. If you have contacts from any other place, so like Brian, for example, I know we talked yesterday about setting up an Eventbrite and collect, if you collect those contacts out of there, the nice thing about PieSync, it can feed into that and pull those right into your command. So the whole idea of PieSync is that depending on what apps you have and what programs and tools you have, you can have it automatically sync to pull in that contact info into your command. So it's pretty short. It's a short, simple thing, but the nice thing is if we wrap it up, you guys will have a little bit of time to go and test it out yourselves. What I went ahead and did was I deactivated mine for this example. So I'm going to try and show you what it's going to look like as you walk through it and how it'll show on your end. So without further ado, feel free to jump in, stop me if you have any questions. I'm going to share my screen.
I got a question, Sam.
Yeah.
Because I just did this yesterday for the PieSync. So it only syncs numbers that have email addresses?
So yes. It basically, it is going to require at least an email or a phone number for any of those.
So if it has a phone number, only a phone number, it should sync, right?
Yeah, it should sync. You may have to select, the certain criteria that you want it to pull in. Like for example, when I get to that page, you can actually, if my recommendation is you might as well just pull in all the contacts that you have. You never know. You can always go in and delete them from command later. That's pretty simple and easy. But if you wanted to just pull in, if you had a group of contacts that, were, you're able to pull in with like specific information. So if you only wanted Gmail addresses, you could only pull those in. If you only wanted phone numbers with like a 908 area code, you could just pull those in. So it lets you be able to control what you actually sync into command.
Oh, this is very good because only need phone numbers. I have more phone numbers than emails, so that can be used also for everything else that we use in command, like the touches and things like that, or not?
Yeah. So in that case, for example, if you have an email address, great. That's going to be perfect because you can set them up on smart plans and send out emails to them directly and that sort of thing. But if you just have their phone number, that's going to work just as well because it will set you up with those reminders to give them a call. You can give them a call and then get their email. If you have Twilio set up in your command, you can send those people text messages. So there is value in having it, even if they don't have an email address.
Good.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah. So without further ado, like I said, it's actually a pretty quick, pretty easy process for the most part. Let me minimize my screen. And okay. So for those of you who haven't done this, when you log into command, if you go and click where your name is, you're going to click and you're going to go down to settings. And this is pretty much where you're going to connect all of your different applications. So Facebook, your Google Calendar, this is where you'll set up Twilio and all that good stuff. So for today, if you scroll down, you'll see it's going to be right here under productivity. It's PieSync. And the nice thing is, and that's what I was saying before, you can connect this with at least 150 or more different applications. And as we go in here, you'll see that you can actually select which application you want to sync to.
So even though you've never used PieSync, PieSync will show up there?
Yeah, yep, it should automatically show up for you. And it should look similar to how I did it. Like I said, I disconnected mine. So I'm gonna now just show you the steps to connect it. Should be pretty similar, if not identical for you when you go ahead and do it. So you'll see that it's actually gonna walk you through 4 steps. So the very first step is it's going to show you which app you want to choose. Whether it's your Google Contacts, Outlook. The example that I'm going to use today is iCloud. That's just because I happen to have an iPhone. But if you don't have an iPhone, if you have an Android or something like that, just take a look. I mean, there are tons of different applications in here. off the top of my head, I'm not 100% sure which program people use for Android. But like I said, there's a ton in here. Yeah, at least 150. So take a look.
But if your iPhone iCloud is probably the best.
iCloud is going to be because basically what it is, I just tend to find more people have iPhones. So, in my case and for a couple of agents that I've helped with, I guess I've lucked out. They've all happened to have iPhones. But it's going to be a similar process regardless of whether we go into iCloud or another one of these apps. Basically, you'll see at the top, you'll choose your app. You'll have to authenticate it. So you'll have to log into whatever app it is that you're pulling from. So like I'll have to log into my iCloud. In that case, you're also going to have to make sure that you have your iCloud turned on and that your contacts are being synced to it, which you'll do that right from your cell phone. If you go into your settings on your cell phone, you'll just have to allow that. And that'll be kind of the same for any of these apps as well. And then once you authenticate it, you'll then be able to choose what information you want to pull out of that account. And then the last step is to just basically configure it, and it's going to go ahead and upload everything.
Now, if you have your entire phone already in your command, is it going to duplicate all the contacts?
So the nice thing about PieSync is it will, at least in the case for iCloud specifically, anytime that I add a new contact on my phone, I have it set so it automatically gets updated in the iCloud. And then in that case, PieSync will automatically refresh that. So it should automatically update in your command as well.
So it won't duplicate the ones I already have in there?
No. There's actually a button toward the last step that it makes sure that that it doesn't allow duplicates. So if you have the same phone number or the same email address, yeah, it won't duplicate that.
Great.
Mm-hmm. So in this case, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to click iCloud, and you'll see that it's going to take you to a screen that looks like this. You do have to authorize whichever app to allow them to pull your contact info from it. You'll see that I already have mine set up on here. So in this case, if you don't have yours set up already, you'll just go ahead and click Add New Account. And it'll pull up a screen like this. And basically what you'll have to do is you'll just have to type in your username and your password for that account. So, in that case, I would type in, mine was set up with my Gmail account, and then I would type in my password. You would hit next, and it would just go through a quick step-by-step tutorial for setting that up. Even though I have mine set up already, I'm going to see if it will, yeah. So because I already have mine set up, I'll just go ahead and click that. If you are adding a new account, again, like I said, there will be a couple additional small steps, but it will just be involve you authenticating whichever app you're using. So it'll just make you sign into that app, basically. But once you have that, basically you'll just hit configure and sync. And then that will take you to the last step, which is configure your connection. So just to walk you through this, you'll see at the top here, it's going to show whichever app you're connecting to, and then command. So in this case, we have iCloud and command. It's going to show you what data type it's pulling. So in this case, it would be contacts. And these three buttons right here actually show you the different ways in which you connect everything. So for example, this first one, if you hover over it, it will say, only sync from iCloud to KW command. Contacts will never be created or updated in iCloud. So in that case, you either have the option of just feeding everything from one app, in this case, your iCloud, into command. You can have your command information update only into iCloud, or you can have them sync both ways, which in this case, I will always recommend have them sync both ways because you don't want to have, outdated information in one area versus another. So in that case, it's going to automatically set to both ways. So just go ahead and keep that rule. Then when you scroll down, you'll see that it gives you a section for connection rules. And basically what this is this is the part that I was mentioning before. If you wanted to pull in some specific information, this is where it would allow you to kind of create those rules. So, you'll see here, if a contact is in, and you would select either iCloud or Command, then sync it 2 ways between iCloud and Command. So that's currently what is set. However, if you wanted to do something like, if a contact is in iCloud and let's say, has a phone number or has a birthday or a certain job title, you could select that. And again, just narrow in that criteria. To be honest, I would just go ahead and upload what you have. Again, to me, it's more valuable to have any of that contact information already in Command. You can always delete it from Command and that sort of thing. But this is just in the case of, maybe you have a couple thousand contacts that maybe you don't necessarily want to have all of them. Then you can go ahead and put some of these rules in place so it won't feed all of that information. But if you ever get to this point, you're uploading some of your own and you want to walk through it, I'm happy to walk through that. You can also add additional rules, again, which is right here, or if you have rules in place, you can refresh them and it'll automatically reset you to the general rules that are in place for everybody. Right under that is the section called connection settings. And this is where I know we mentioned avoiding duplicates. So you just want to make sure that if you check this first box, it says only sync contacts that have an email address. So in this case, you can either check or uncheck that.
Can't uncheck it.
Oh, that's right. Oh, you used to be able to. See, okay, because I had mine set up before and I know that was a thing. So, okay, please see contact, yeah.
I emailed them to see how I can figure it out because I have a bunch of contacts, just numbers, no emails.
Gotcha. Okay, yeah. See my bad, because like I said, they were updating this for a while, so that's why I haven't gotten to actually walk through this for a class just yet. But yeah, okay, that's good to know. Actually, that's good to know. Yeah, Peter, I guess keep me posted if you hear anything about that.
I will.
In future classes, I'm going to kind of poke around with it a bit too. Good to know. Thank you. So in that case, for this example, it will only sync contacts that have an email address. Yeah, interesting enough. So I'll have to go in and work on my contact list. In that case, one other button right here. So when they initially match up contacts, a field value is different. You can choose the option of which field you would want to have it synced to. So it's basically which information you want to keep on hand moving forward. That's just a personal preference. Depends on whether or not you keep your information in iCloud or your contacts in iCloud a bit more up to date, or if you tend to make those updates in Command. So for the purposes of this and moving forward, I would say go ahead and stick with KW Command. And then the last section is the field mappings, which again, not going to have to worry too much. These are all automatically set for you already. And basically what it does is it pulls the information almost exactly as it is in your iCloud to your command. And this will be the case for whichever app you choose to sync this up to. It'll try and match over that information correctly and into the correct places in command, which for the most part, most of these are synced correctly, company name, first name, last name, email, phone number, etc. And then last but not least, if you want to do some custom field mapping, you can also do that here as well. And then basically you'll hit either save for later or start syncing now. So in this case, I'm going to go ahead and hit start syncing just to show you what the page will look like. And it's going to go ahead and take you to a page that looks like this, that you'll be able to access anytime without going through what we just went through. And it'll show you what's been synced and updated within the last 30 days. So you'll see that now it's automatically pulling from my iCloud. It's going to pull in those contacts. It's going to show what was added into command. If it's looking at command, it'll show what's updated in iCloud. And it'll show you duplicates and anything that's excluded. So it will take a couple minutes to do this. If you sit here and stay on this page, it'll update in real time. Or if you close out, you'll see, if we scroll to PieSync, it'll show now that it's connected. You have at least one app connected. If you can connect multiple apps, and it'll show how many apps that you have connected. And if you click show details, again, it's just going to show you what you have connected. If you want to pause, disconnect, and if you want to check the status, you can just click the edit button. Give it a couple seconds. It'll take you back to this page, and if you click the health button, that will take you right back to where we were. So it'll show you it's processing 200 of my contacts, and it'll show either what's being synced, what's being excluded, etc. So let me stop right there. Does anybody have any questions? I know I kind of walked through that, fairly quick, but it just does involve going through step by step. But ultimately, it saves you a bit of trouble instead of having to manually add them or pull from a list or anything like that. Any other questions? Any questions about anything else? Okay. So, I mean, that was pretty much
Good.
You're good? Okay. Yeah, no. So in that case, that's pretty much what I wanted to cover with today. I wanted to kind of just spend a class walking through that because that's going to be a big component for a lot of people moving forward. But yeah, so kind of just circling back, moving forward, I'm going to work to, at least for next week's class, I'm going to try and get that on Market Center Zoom just so everybody's aligned with it. And if there's anybody that's having any other issues logging into any of the Zoom meetings, just let me know. I'm going to work on troubleshooting some of that stuff. And so we'll just kind of get on track moving forward.
Hey, Sam, if you find out about the email thing, would you?
Yeah, I'm actually going to reach out too, because like I said, I initially set my PieSync up back in August when I first started. So I know back then, that's why I was kind of curious. They've been working on this update for a while, so I think some of that's kind of played into what they allow and what they don't allow. So yeah, I'm going to reach out to them and see what I find. Okay. Well, if anybody doesn't have any other questions, like I said, I was going to keep today's class short anyway. Thank you for all of your patience. I will post and record this and share the link. Yeah, and if you have any other questions in the meantime, feel free to reach out. Peter, I don't know if you have my email, but it's just samhanson@kw.com. Feel free to reach out anytime.
I will.
So
Thanks.
okay. All right, then yeah, that's all I have for today. So I will see you all later. Thank you very much. I appreciate your patience.
Thanks, Sam.
Yep.
See you soon.
Yep. All right, see you, Paul. Have a good one. Thank you. I'm going to work on the link stuff.